computer. Even though Mr. Johnson is going to talk about some other security protocols, we need your integrity. We need your 100% attention in your classes. Without further ado, I want to hand it on to Mr. Johnson, I believe. Mr. Johnson, are you up?
Yes. So we're just going to go through some introductions now. Thank you, Mr. Karan. Next up is going to be Miss Walton.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for your patience earlier when I came on and had to give the bad news that we were starting at a different time than what you were originally told. We are, like they said, going to be going through our remote learning plan and kind of giving our expectations for students and parents. These are all available in the larger document that was sent out, and also there was a parent one-pager that had kind of the highlights of the most important notes that you needed to have. So if you did not have that or did not receive that, you can always send me an email. I'll put it in the chat just in case, and I'll make sure that you get a hold of that. And I will let Mr. Johnson introduce the next person.
I can assume that I'm the next person, so I'll get going. Should I start with my presentation, or should I just introduce myself? I'll start with my presentation. All right. Well,
hey, parents, if we can please mute ourselves. There should be a small little 3 blue dots next to your name or your phone number. If you could just hit that and mute yourself, that would be really helpful for the presenters.
all right. Well, thank you for coming to our parent orientation night. Like Mr. Karan said, it's really going to take a team effort, and we're very proud of the engagement that we received in the spring when we did need to move to remote learning. So we want to make that happen again and make sure that this remote learning experience goes as smooth as we can. And for that to happen, we're going to need your help. We're going to have to be a team in this. So I'm Mr. Castro. I'm a technology teacher. I teach all grades from 6 through 12. I teach computer literacy, and this year I'll be teaching AP Computer Science. I also coach soccer teams, and I coach the middle school robotics team. And this is my 3rd year at CMSA. So some of what we'll cover today, what I'll be covering for you, I'll be covering Google Sites, Google Classroom, some Chrome add-ons. I'll explain what all those things are, and then I'll also give you some tips and hints that I kind of gathered from the spring. That way we can save ourselves some easy headaches from happening. So off the bat, 2 of the most the websites that we will be using are that your son or daughter will be using that you should get to know. Some of these you might already know as well, is ConceptSys and Google Classroom. So I'll show you the differences right now with this presentation. I'll tell you what the differences are and where you'll be able to find information that you might be looking for. So we will share emails and passwords with your students. You should definitely write these down. Getting them recovered is not a quick process. But essentially, work will be done and given on Google Classroom. Mostly everything will be accessed on Google Sites. I'll show you what that will look like. On the other hand, we'll have ConceptSys. Thing is those are 2 different logins, so keep that in mind. ConceptSys is used so that we can put official grades down. This is also where your student can find attendance. Where your students will be able to find their work is Google Classroom and Google Sites. Google Sites will lead them to wherever they need to go, depending on the day, because as you know, we have A schedule and B schedule. So Mondays, Wednesdays will be some first, second, third, and fourth, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays will be 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th periods. So In Google Classroom is where your students will be turning their grades in. They'll earn their grades here, but the official grades will be put on Concept Sys, so please remember that. So off the bat, let me go ahead and show you what a Google site looks like. So I've actually created a Google site for 7th grade, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty easy to navigate. As you can see, we've got buttons to Concept Sys. All you do is click that, and it'll take you straight to it. For those of you that might not remember exactly what Concept Sys looks like, this is it. This is where the official grades and schedules are placed. So back to Google site. Google Classroom, so initially Google site is what will have all of your students' Google Classrooms in here. So if I actually click this, it will take me to Google Classroom. So right now on this left side green, that would be science, math. This one's social studies. If you actually click the picture, it will take you to the Google Classroom for that social studies class. Here is my technology one, and you click it and it'll take you straight to Google Classroom. Another awesome thing about Google Site is that we can put our announcements here. We will also be able to have teacher office hours. So if your student needs some extra tutoring, they want to talk about a homework practice before an exam, you will be able to contact your teachers through on Google Site using the teacher office hours tab. So if I click that right now, it takes me to our teacher office hours. As you can see, we still are working on this website, but it's pretty much set to go. We just need to add some pictures and the actual time that our office hours will be taking place. Things are easy. You click on the teacher's name and it will bring up an email. So that's that. So that is what Google Sites is. We've got announcements too. So this is your hub. This is where you'll be able to go and decide whether you need to go to Concept Sys, Google Classroom, email a teacher. This will be a critical site for not only for your students to use, but for you as well. So let me go ahead and show you what Google Classroom looks like. All right, so I made this Google Classroom specifically for Parent Night. It's really easy to navigate. Most of the students at the school should have already touched on Google Classroom either 2 years ago or even the year before. It's got a few different tabs. It's got stream, classwork, people, and grades. Now, one thing about grades on Google Classroom is that some teachers will use grades on here, others won't. And the reason is because sometimes it saves you time. It takes extra effort if you are putting in grades on Google Classroom and then you need to go to Concept Sys and put them in there. So to save some time, teachers usually just go straight to Concept Sys to put the official grades there. Stream, this tab will have your classwork, which is the blue icon, and it'll also have messages. As you can see here, I already put one message here. This isn't a real Google Classroom. This is just an example one for Parent Night. Teachers go ahead and place classwork here. This is where you will find materials and classwork. But that is pretty much what I have for you for Google Classroom. So let's go back to my presentation. Okay, so once again, you have seen the differences between how Google Sites leads to Google Classroom. And I've also shown you a little bit of Concept Sys. Just remember, Concept Sys has the official records when it comes to attendance and grades. Before I get to tips and hints, I do want to discuss what an add-on is. So let me. All right, so I've got a few screens going on. Let me show you this. All right. Hopefully you guys can see my entire screen. I think it's loading right now. So We will be having live instruction. So live instruction is going to look very much like this. It's exactly going to look at, it's actually going to look exactly like this when we use Google Meet. And one thing we want to point out, so Google shares with us their tools, but Google also does a great job of being an open source platform. And what that means is that Google gives you the tools, but it also gives you the chance to create your own tools that can be compatible with Google. For example, when we're in Meet here, say for example, we're in a classroom setting and I've got 10 students, but I actually want those 10 students to split up in groups of 2. So we'll have 5 different groups. Right now, Google does not give us a chance to split those 10 students into groups, but what does give us a chance to split those students in groups is what we call Chrome extensions. So if you look at the screen right now, on this top right corner, hopefully you can see, you can't. On this top right-hand corner is a little puzzle piece. If I click the puzzle piece, it tells you their extensions. So these are the extensions I have right now. These extensions let us find tools that are compatible with Google that Google doesn't give to us right away. So throughout the year, if you ever have your student might be struggling to find or know what we're talking about when it comes to add-ons, remember on the top right-hand side, this puzzle piece is what we're talking about. So some teachers might have you download an extension that allows them to be in a Google Meet like we are right now, and then break students in groups in the Google Meet. So if that word ever comes up, just remember puzzle piece on the top right-hand corner. All right, let me just share with you one more thing. All right, so the last thing I want to share with you are 4 tips and hints. I'll actually zoom out so you can see all of them. I know number 4 is cut out. But number 1, students need to use the Chromebooks that we've given them as a school when they are in live instruction during the school day. The reason is that way we can monitor what sites they are using during the class period, and it actually lets us control it. So, for example, if we have a student who needs to be paying attention to a presentation like right now, and they are on YouTube and not paying attention, we will be able to freeze their screen, exit out of YouTube for them, and guide them back to focus on what they need to be doing. So it is very important that your student is not using their own laptop, their own phone during school time. They need to be using the Chromebook so that we can control what they're doing and help them focus on what instruction they need to be listening to. Number 2, students are going to be receiving emails and passwords and going to be making accounts to different websites. Please remember to write these passwords down. It is not the easiest thing. Well, it is rather easy, but it's not quick. It's not quick to get them to recover their password or reset it. So please, whenever we give you guys an email and a password, write it down somewhere so you don't lose it. And even when you do start making accounts for other websites, please remind your student to write those passwords down anywhere safe, please. Number 3, Google automatically saves. And the reason why I'm bringing number 3 up is because in the spring, we had a lot of instances where I'll use an example from my class. I would give an assignment out, and I would get it submitted, and the student would return it as it were completed. But once I would look through the assignment, it was blank. And most of the time, students were saying that they were completing the work, but when they would submit it, something would happen. It would just magically disappear. That is not the case. So if you can see right now, on top where my mouse is, it says last edit was 30 minutes ago. So let me show you what happens. If I make a change and I type a few letters in, look back up top, it says last edit was seconds ago. So anytime you make any changes, if you type something, if you erase something, if you move something, it will automatically save it. So please, if your student comes up to you and tells you, Mom, Dad, I don't know what happened, I turned it in and it's blank. Most of the time, they're just trying to get a free pass on homework. So please remember that Google automatically saves any work your student does. And last but not least, please email us, have communication with us. We will be contacting you guys as well, but please let's remember that we're on the same team, and it's going to take student, parents, and teachers working together to make this remote learning experience, because the most important thing is not that we're just getting it done. The important thing is that the student is actually learning something. So let's go ahead and have an open communication. I've shown you Google Sites. We'll have all of our emails. ConceptSys has all of our emails. Don't be afraid to reach out to us. A simple email saying hi, introducing yourself. We'll do the same thing, but let's make sure that we're working as a team this year. But that's pretty much all I have for you. Thanks again for coming. It's very important for us to see you all here, supporting your student and having an interest and seeing what this remote learning experience will look like. But we're ready for the challenge, and we're waiting for September 8th to get going. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Castro. So I am going to ask Miss Serena if she would like to jump in. She is the head of our college counseling department, and a vital cog in what we do here on a daily basis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to virtually meet all of you. I wish that we were together face to face, but at least we're here right now. I'm here to go over a few things just briefly so you can kind of have an understanding of what I do, and if you need something, how you can reach me and contact me. I'm going to share my screen right now. Oh, this is my second year with CMSA. I have been involved with education for over 20 years, and so I'm very excited to be in the Chicago area and serve you. So let me real quick share my screen. All right, well, this is my contact information. If anyone, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll make sure at the end you can as well have my contact, and I have been sending out emails to the various classes from the class of 2021 and 2022, but I will make sure that all parents get my information soon. And so the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight on our agenda, we're going to briefly talk about my duties and responsibilities to the seniors, briefly the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, and we'll have a short question and answer. And also you can even email me any questions that you might have. With the seniors, I'll be helping students with college process and post-secondary pathway planning using the Naviance. The Naviance is a college and career readiness software program, and it helps the students in their planning and their career assessments. We use the Naviance as a portal to communicate to the universities that they're going to apply to. Their applications are on the Naviance, and then we transmit the information, anything that's needed, transcripts, letters of recommendations, to those universities. And also on the Naviance, there's an amazing curriculum called Learn, Plan, Succeed. You'll also hear me refer to as LPS later on as we start having lessons and discuss various assessments in there when I send out assignments to your seniors. And it helps them with post-secondary pathway planning, which means that it gives them a plan for what they're going to do after graduation, as well as preparing for graduation, as far as like looking into careers, looking into job markets, which is a lucrative market, what they're interested in, and how to find a career that with what they're interested in. We'll be helping them with the college application. Many times, like in Mrs. Cobb's class, the career and college composition. Sometimes I'll be taking some of those periods and we'll help with getting them ready with doing the applications in there or certain parts of it. I will also be helping them with the SAT registration and taking the SAT. We're going to next week register, and this weekend an email will go out where we'll get together and online we'll register together and get their waivers. They'll get 2 free tests a year because they go to our school and the districts we're at, they're eligible for 2 waivers. We'll also be doing the FAFSA together. And first we'll be training in about the 3rd week of September what they need to do to get ready for the FAFSA, which is the free financial aid application, and what they'll need to make their PIN. And then we'll have a parent night, much like this, probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I'll let you know ahead of time in the last week of September so that we can tell you what we need you to get ready. So when we have the day that or really 2 days that we'll work on the FAFSA, all that information will be ready so your young person can plug it in. And then if there's any mistakes and we start to see that it's incomplete for some reason, in the month or 2 after, we'll be working on it regularly so that we can, any little mistake, if there's something, a name change or something wrong with the social security number being off, we will be able to fix it in that time so your student, your child, can get as much financial aid as possible. I didn't put it up here, but there's also something called the RISE Act, and the RISE Act was something new for January 1st this past year. And if a student is not a citizen, they'll still be eligible for $5,400 a year of financial help. And so that's much like the MAP grant, which is another $5,400 amount that's for the state of Illinois and for the state of Illinois only. I'll be helping them with scholarship searches. There'll be different kinds of scholarships, not just scholarships for the universities or colleges they're going to, but independent scholarships we'll be searching for. So I will encourage, and we kind of have fun with that, where we have sometimes I have raffles and games on who will try to get as many scholarships, and they show me proof and I put their name inside of some sort of raffle. And more important than the little gift that I might give will be the potential for the amount that they might get to help take the cost of the university down. Also, we will have this year virtual college tours, which I've already began to sign up and start to get us registered for, where they'll be able to, it's not as much fun as going to the actual college, but at least they'll be able to see the different colleges, different kinds of universities, so they can get a feel for where they want to go and try to make that college fit. And the college rep visits. We used to have quite a few that came to our school, but now they're going to come to us via Google Meets, much like what we're doing right now. And we're going to learn from them their opportunities and get familiar with the various colleges locally as well as some in other states, so our young people can see the various opportunities they may have. There's many other things that we'll do, but this is everything is kind of related for the seniors, to these things. The next thing, going the other way. Juniors, we want our juniors as well to get acclimated and get used to getting ready for college. So they too will have some towards the end of the year, some virtual college tours in the second semester. They will experience some rep visits, and we'll get them involved, and we'll start to get them ready using the Naviance. Because actually it was our original plan to try to get all of the high school to use the Naviance this year. There are curriculums that are in the Naviance that can benefit right from the 6th grade actually up to the 12th grade. So we're hoping at least from 9th grade to 12th grade for them to use the curriculum. But the seniors the most, but the juniors will have more time than the lower classmen to use the Naviance and use those assessment tools so they can assess themselves. They will have scholarship awareness, and sometimes I did run into scholarships that were for juniors as well. And when I knew students, because some students I know more than others, if it was something to benefit them, I made sure those juniors last year got that information. SAT preparation, as you know, we do have 3 courses that help to prep them in the 11th grade. we want to try to, towards the end of the year, to let those 11th graders to take the SAT test to begin with, or the end of the 11th grade year. And we want to encourage both with the 12th grade and the 11th grade considering taking college credit courses. We had many 11th graders last year, you know, that took courses from Truman. Quite often it's Truman, but some even at Malcolm X and Oakton. So we encourage it because then we can add it to the transcripts, and it just makes less classes that they'll have to take when they get to college. So we want to make them well informed. And for our juniors, and also sophomores, there are many summer programs that came up. For our juniors, they were certification programs in IT and accounting with Genesis Works. And there are other summer programs that came up, mentorship programs, that we like to get them involved so they can benefit or take some sort of certification prior to graduation. It just helps enhances their confidence in themselves. And so we try to make this information available and ready. For our sophomores and freshmen, we want to make them understand the importance of using their time wisely, using every moment well. We want them to see how important it is for them to invest in themselves. I myself, I want to encourage that. And as I'm by second semester getting into the classes a little bit and having meetings sometimes with them so that they can see that it's very important to maintain a good GPA. They can focus on their graduation requirements and know what they need to do. So it helps them to be more organized and take charge and ownership over their responsibilities and duties to themselves. I want to help them with their future planning as they're beginning really that future planning, I think, in that 9th grade. Summer opportunities, there are some mentorship programs and summer opportunities that do come up for the 9th and 10th graders. It's an abundance here in Chicago, and I'm really so pleased that you know, that we have so much that's going on in Cook County. And so I want to try to make sure that that we find something for everyone, I'm hoping. And we want to make sure that we encourage AP and honors classes so that the students, that maybe even students that maybe didn't work as hard in middle school, when they come to high school, they will invest in themselves and see those AP and honors classes and work and strive to not just, you know, not to feel less because they don't feel as smart, but they know that hard work will get them into those AP and honors classes and just strive for them. So there's a lot of things I've jumped over, but if anyone has any questions, if anyone has anything they want to ask me, you know, you either can ask me now or maybe you can send me an email. And I will be having office hours every day, you know, so we can set up a time to have a Google meeting between 9:30 and 11:30. And on Wednesdays, I will stay late for parents that up to 6:15 for parents that need to talk after work hours. So that if there's any questions that come up, I want to be available for you because I know how it is if you're working and you can't talk at that time. But we can try to find some way to answer your questions, especially for seniors, because they are you know, focus right now to get them ready, get them outside, and get them into the world to start their adulting. So if anyone has any questions, I hope I didn't talk too much.
Question?
Yes.
When does class start? Like 8 o'clock, 7:45? Officially.
Oh, you know, I'm going to cover some of that coming up right now. So for general questions, I'll probably answer most of them. But if you have any specific questions for college counseling, this would be the time.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miss Serena. I'm going to go ahead and take over here. Give me 1 second. All right. So we were talking about introductions. I'm going to put these email addresses here up on the screen. They are also on the website. I'm going to tell you that for most things, a great starting point for any general questions will be myself, Mr. Johnson. I didn't introduce myself, and I should have, but for those who don't know who I am, I'm the assistant principal of school culture here at CMSA in the high school side. And, you know, generally I will handle things like behavior and discipline and things that have to do with building culture in the building. During this COVID time, you know, it becomes a unique challenge for me to be able to actually make sure students are doing what they're supposed to do. And I'll talk a little bit about how that might work as we move forward. But I wanted to, go ahead and start with some of the information that is in your 20-page document. It's some general information, and then we're going to go into student expectations and parent expectations. So the first day of school is Tuesday, September 8th. We are looking at a 9 o'clock start time for first period. Actually, it'll be Tuesday, September 8th. So being on a block schedule, it will be fourth period. It still starts at 9 o'clock. So just to repeat, something that's new for us this year is Monday and Wednesday will be periods 1 through 4. Each class is an hour with a half-hour break in between. Those half-hour breaks are your own. Students are encouraged to, you know, get some snacks, eat their lunch during those times, do any other work or reading that they need to do, or just, you know, take a mental break. I know that myself, I can speak for myself, we've been on screen a lot the last week or so. Actually, we've been on screen a lot since April. But we are sensitive to the fact that it can be fatiguing. All of the technology is hard to navigate because, you know, frankly, it's easier to be able to talk to people. It's more meaningful to talk in person or even over the phone. And screen time can be very taxing. So we wanted to give little half-hour breaks, not only for the students, but the teachers as well. We are human. We do need a break from the screen sometimes. But we are looking for 9 o'clock start time, and your day will end at around 3 o'clock, 2:30, with office hours afterwards. Those office hours are completely voluntary, but it's a great time to be able to ask questions. Then we go Friday. There are no classes scheduled on Fridays, but teachers will have office hours in the morning, and they will post those office hours in their group classrooms. And that's a great time for you to be able, as a student, even as a parent, if you have questions, be able to connect with that teacher, figure out what any issues might be. And of course, those issues can be wide-ranging, you know, from not understanding something in the content to even having some technology issues. If you're having issues with any of the aspects of online learning from home, please feel free to reach out to us, see if we can offer any support, perhaps solutions to some of the problems if we're able to. Things like technology, we know that we've given everybody a Chromebook and that we're committed to making sure those Chromebooks work. And we also know that internet access at home can be challenging. So there is a Chicago Connected program that we really encourage parents to check out. If you Google Chicago Connected, it will take you to the site, and you can see if you qualify for free internet packages given through CPS. We also have the online platforms, Google Education we talked about, and the online gradebook for SIS. Live interaction is something that we really wanted to stress this year to try to make schooling as meaningful as we could. And we know that if it's not face-to-face in person, at least face-to-face virtually might be sufficient. So please take advantage of office hours. We all have a lot of questions. We all have a lot on our plates. So having some extra time one-on-one with the teacher is invaluable. As Mr. Cron said, the grades matter, attendance matter. We have always said that this is a place where excellence thrives. We want to continue providing an excellent education for your young ones. That said, too, in order to do so, we need help. We have additional supports for English language learners and special education, students in temporary living situations for additional support. Our social workers are still working really hard to make sure that students are well taken care of with their emotional needs. If there are issues, please start by contacting myself. I can reach out to Ms. Dalzin, our school counselor for social and emotional issues, as opposed to our counselor for college. So please reach out, as well as Ms. Serena for her college counseling if you have questions for that. So let's start with some student expectations. I won't necessarily...
This is Principal Kuran, sorry to interrupt, but there was a confusion about the start time. Actually, the classes start at 8:30.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, students and parents, classes start at 8:30, and the last period will end at 2 o'clock. And then between 2:30 and 3:30, there's going to be a virtual office hour, which is going to be like tutoring. So between 8:30 and 2 o'clock, attendance is mandatory, and then the extra hour, office hour, is optional.
Thank you. Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. So office hours, as it says here, sorry, I forgot my slide. Yes, 2:30 to 3:30 for office hours, 8:30 to 11 on Fridays. We will use handbook rules as much as they apply. So something that's important is that students are respectful online, they dress appropriately, they have appropriate backgrounds to their screens. We're saying nothing that's going to be inappropriate or distracting to the class. We will kind of reserve the right to perhaps ask you to change it, or even take matters into our own hands with the actual online screen and mute the screen. But we're hoping that everybody's able to remain respectful online and use appropriate dress and backgrounds. If you send teachers a message, you should expect to get some response within 24 hours, if not sooner. If you're not getting a response, I'm always a good person to reach out to, and I can reach out to that same teacher and make sure that you get the information that you need. Students also, this is the time that a lot of the learning is going to fall to you, and it's really a matter of desire. It's a matter of being committed to educating yourself. I always say that when you have choices, you have power. And I don't think there's a bigger choice that you will have coming up in your life that is greater than the ability to choose what college you want to go to, the ability to choose what scholarship is better looking for you, what fits you the best. And you get those choices by being an effective student. It means that you apply yourself. You're not afraid to fail, and that you will do whatever it takes in order to get the materials that you need. And I know that our teachers are committed, and I want to know that you guys are equally as committed to yourselves as our teaching staff is. So please, you commit to completing your Google Classroom assignments on the assigned due date, so that there aren't worries about whether or not you're going to pass a class when the time comes. Your work needs to reflect you. It should be high quality. You are a high quality individual. And if somebody has told you differently, don't believe them. And your work reflects who you are. And there's plenty of time to work on what you need to do to get better and figure it out. And if you fail at it once, work harder. And if you fail at it again, work 3 times as hard. I don't think there's anything that's secret to being successful, because hard work is always the answer. We can work better and smarter, and we can work more, but when you have a support staff like the teachers here, please take advantage of them. And you can only do that by being committed to getting a high school education. Check your grades. You guys should know what your grades are. Be prepared that you will have success when you are completing assignments. As time goes on, you fill yourselves with knowledge. You're able to make better decisions. So you know, being prepared for success means doing the work and being willing to put in the time, even when it's difficult. Late work is going to be indicated as missing on the gradebook, and the late policies are going to be explained to you in each of your classes, so please be aware of that. And here's something that came up a few times during the initial quarantine for COVID, was that the CMSA's academic and honesty and integrity policy is going to continue to be upheld. Cheating, especially copying things off the internet for a paper or something like that, will be met with the same consequences. Parents, you can expect a phone call home from the teachers and myself when this happens. You know, the idea of the punishment not being the form of an in-person detention with me maybe will make students think that it's not as important, but of all the issues, being honest with your work is as much of a reflection of you and your family and the way you were raised as anything else. So please understand that, you know, it will affect your grade, and if it happens multiple times, you'll be looking at discipline measures from CMSA. So please be honest with your work. And I just put it here again one time at the end. Attendance and tardy consequences will be assigned. So in many cases, let's talk a little bit about that. In many cases, things that are consequences will be in the form of a meeting with me. I want to make sure that you're committed, and I want to see the commitment. And if I don't see the commitment, I want to figure out what it is that I need to do to help you be committed. And that's a team effort. So parents, it's something that we hope that you ingrain in your students at home. We're going to do it here from school, and when the time is necessary, if that time comes up, you'll receive a phone call from me, a request for meeting, and maybe even in some cases a home visit. And I'll stand at your front door and talk to you and your parents about what it is that's keeping you from being successful. My first goal in all of this is always to make sure that you are doing your best and that you have everything that you need. And once you have all those things, you need the proper mindset, and I want to try to help students get the proper mindset. Parents, obviously we're looking at a lot of similarities, so I won't go through every single one of these, but parents, please help us. Importantly, having, if possible, a dedicated space for your student or students to be able to work in privacy is going to be vital. Establishing a routine with them so that every morning they're up at their computers, logged in. If possible, if you're able to be home for that. I recognize that there are a lot of parents out there who need to work, and that's what it is. But if possible, the more monitoring you're able to do, the more you're able to get into their Google Classrooms and monitor their grades, the better this experiment is going to work. And if you have questions about any of that at any time, you can always start with emails to me. And if I don't know the answer, I will direct you to somebody who does. A good practice, because we don't have classes face-to-face online on Friday, would be that on Thursdays, you take the opportunity to make sure your child does not have outstanding work. And if they do, that is a goal for the use of that Friday time. We call it independent learning. It can be used for catch-up. It can be used to look forward, or to simply learn something better or again. That time is up to the student, but we strongly urge them to use it to make sure everything that they need to have to pass the year is done. So these routines can become important. They're new to all of us. They're new to the teachers, they're new to the parents, new to the students. So the sooner we start and get off on the right foot, the better this quarter is going to be. And I'll echo the sentiment. It's hard to be here talking into a computer screen. I've realized more than at any time in my career that being face-to-face with students is part of what makes me enjoy my job, and being face-to-face with teachers is part of what makes me enjoy my job. So talking to you through the screen, it's difficult. I want to be able to answer questions and look people in the eye, and it's just not possible. But I'm hoping that this this shutdown, the COVID shutdown, is going to be short term. You know, we're looking at least a quarter for right now, but there's always a possibility that it'll go on. But I'll tell you what you already know, this isn't going to last forever. So we have to just get through it together, and we have to really work as a team in order to make it work. I'm going to go ahead and we are right at 8 o'clock, which is what we scheduled an hour for. Again, most of this information is available in that 20-page packet that we had sent out earlier. So please review that with your students. If there are any general questions that you'd like to ask, I can open this up to all of you to ask questions. If you want to type anything else into the chat box for a question, that would work. If there are individual questions where you have issues with, let's say, getting online or getting an individual password, go ahead and shoot myself or Ms. Waltman an email, and we can get that information out to you as soon as possible. So I'll just go ahead.
This is Principal Crown again. Can I show parents something on our school websites, how they can access this remote learning plan?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Right. Give me 1 second, everyone. Let me share one of my screens here. The one thing that I would always recommend is, in terms of updated plans or most recent information, you can always go to our school website, which is www.cmsaonline.net. Your students know what this website is. When you go on the website, at this time, you see this warning, this pop-up that says school will start on September 8th. And it'll be remote learning. And for more information, you can click on this link. When you click on this link, it will take you to the remote learning website, which is again part of our website. If this pop-up doesn't show up for some reason on your computer due to your settings, you can always look at under the academics portion, there is the first item, remote learning plan. Click on that one, and it will take you to the same place. Now, on this website, we have so limited information at this time because we're just starting. However, the big plan that Mr. Johnson has been referring to, the remote learning plan, the 20-page document, it is right here. You can click on that one. And this is a live document. This version was updated on August 14th. And whenever we make an update, it will be reflected on the website immediately. So you can always check this out. In this document, you get to see a lot of things like the expectations. He has gone over the expectations from students, parents, what we are going to be doing, some important timelines. For example, next week, there is going to be virtual parent meetings, again, like grade level meetings, which is going to be like the virtual version of teacher meet and greet. So look at these times. On Monday, August 31st, 9th grade students and families, you can meet with the parents at 7 o'clock. On Tuesday, it'll be 10th grade, then 11th grade, and then 12th grade. So every day we'll be hosting a grade level. So these information will be, again, emailed to you. So you can check this out. There are a lot of things, for example, questions about when is my first period, when is my second period, what time does it start, what am I supposed to be doing? All these things are written here. So it's a very extensive document, but it is a one-stop document that everything is in here. And even if, like, when we have questions as teachers or the staff in the building, we go back to this document to find the answer. So secondly, our calendar, the updated version, is also available here. You can Also check it out. It shows the new start date, September 8th. And then another important thing here is, which I love a lot, the helpful links to community resources. For example, as a family, you may be looking for some extra help and support, and you may not know where to call. We tried our best to gather a lot of community resources that are available in the greater Chicago area. So check this out, from technology to hotlines, from health resources to essential needs. We try to put together a lot of things in here. So you can also go to their websites through this document that we have. And another thing is a student information flyer and a parent version of the same flyer. So this is a one-pager which shows your schedule, why attendance is so important, grading, what kind of online conduct we're expecting, and how to reach out to the important people, essential people in the building. All the emails that you need, families and students, they are here for you. And like I said, as a parent, we have again a one-pager, a quick document that we believe are the most important things that you can help with your child at this time. So once again, where was this? This is on our school website, cmsaonline.net. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson.
Thanks, Mr. Karan. Are there any other questions that you'd like to ask before we sign out? Like I said, if you think of it later, you can always send me an email and I'll either forward it to the appropriate person or handle it myself. But thank you for taking time out again. Sorry for the confusion about the start time. Again, we're all kind of learning as we go. So thanks for your patience, everybody. And I look forward to having
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question. My student, he's going to be a freshman, and we missed the technology pickup day for his Chromebook. Is there a way we can get another day to come in and pick that up for him?
Absolutely. We should have them available tomorrow. So we have them available probably right now.
Okay.
So if there is anybody on this call right now who did not pick up a CMSA issued Chromebook, we will be available for you to come in individually tomorrow and throughout next week. We're all in the building for those things. Technology and the administration is in the building for the most part. So between the hours of 9 and 3, you'll be able to have access to the building and take care of your computer.
Between 9 and 2?
Between 9 and 3, yes.
9 and 3. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And also for those families who join the meeting later today, please know that the meeting is being recorded, and we will be sharing this recording with all of the families in 2 different ways. One, we will send out an email with the link, and secondly, we will provide the links on our remote learning website. So you can check it out. Give us maybe 1 or 2 days to get everything ready, but we'll be posting these recordings both for middle school and high school in case you have the middle school as well.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
So I got a question. My son was there last year in 8th grade. Now he's going to high school.
Yes.
But it looks like his Google account was deleted. He was trying to get in earlier, but he couldn't. So what do you recommend?
I had posted earlier, and I'll post it again right now, a list of emails that are important. Hold on 1 second. Let me present that. This is the email page. Mr. Kaya down here, who did not present tonight, but he also does similar. He's able to take care of technology like Mr. Castro can, but Mr. Kaya handles the hardware and the setting up of Chromebooks. His email is listed right there. You can go ahead and shoot him an email and ask him about that account issue.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yep. Anybody else? If there's no one else, no other questions, I thank you for coming out tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.